Chase, I'm sorry for asking this while we're in the middle of this family vacation, but this morning, can I go somewhere else for the day?
What? Where are you looking to go, Heidi? Aren't you already out taking a walk by yourself?
Yes, I am. I just walked all the way down to the train station out here, and here I ran into one of my old friends by coincidence.
Oh, I suppose things like that do sometimes happen.
They're staying at a resort nearby to here as well. And they just asked me to go on a day trip with them today to some of the local hot springs that are around this area. So if you're all right with it, I'd like to go with my friend today so that we can catch up with one another while enjoying this part of the country. It's been 10 years now since we've last met, so it would be nice to talk more.
I see. I'm sure you guys won't be seeing one another again for some time after this, so please go with them.
Awesome. Then I'm going to head out with them now. I'm sorry for asking about this out of nowhere, so please take good care of Kiki for today.
Sure thing. Have a fun time with your friend. Heidi? I already told you this morning, but after I get out of work today, I'm going to head over to my sister's house to drop off the gifts we got for them during our little trip, so I'm not going to be home until later tonight. I'll be staying over there with them until after we've had dinner, and then I'll start heading home. Hey, can't you at least respond to me with something today? How long are you going to keep ignoring all of my texts? It's been a week now, Heidi. Ever since we got back from our family vacation, you've been completely ignoring me. I can see that you're still giving Kiki some attention, but when it comes to me, you act like I'm not even around you. I was asked by Kiki this morning while taking her to preschool what happened to you, and If you continue to act this way around me, as Kiki's parents, she's going to grow more and more worried about us, and that's not a good thing for a young child to have to experience. If there's something I've done wrong that's gonna upset you, you need to tell me. If you don't, I'm never going to understand what I've done wrong or what's happened to you. So would you please give me an idea about what's going on here? Why have you been ignoring me for a whole week now? I can see that you're leaving all my texts on read right now, which means you know how I feel about you ignoring me.
Chase, thank you so much for bringing over those gifts for us from your recent family vacation. You really know just what to get everyone. This thing that you got me, this figure, it goes really well with all the rest of my decorations in our lounge room. And of course, we have all been enjoying these jerkies that you got for us.
I'm so happy to hear that you're all happy about the gifts we brought home.
By the way, Chase, when you came over here just a little bit ago, you didn't seem to be doing all that great. Did something happen to you after coming back from that trip?
Oh, so you could tell that something was up then?
I sure could. You looked so down about something, which made it seem almost like you hadn't just taken a vacation with your family at all. I thought you would have been a little more refreshed and happy about that little trip.
I see. You are my sister after all, so there was no hiding my feelings from you.
You need to tell me what's going on right now. I'd like to help you get over whatever troubles you're having.
Thank you, Serena. Now, to tell you the truth about what happened, ever since we all got back from that family vacation, Heidi has been acting very weird.
Can you give me a little more information there?
Well, she's been ignoring me completely for the past week.
She has been? Do you know why she is?
If I knew the reason why, then I probably wouldn't be as upset about things as I am. But anyway, the thing I'm most worried about right now is Kiki and the effects Heidi ignoring me might have on her. Also, this past week, Heidi hasn't really been helping out with any of the chores inside the house. She's still taking care of Kiki when she has the chance to, but besides that, she's not really doing anything. Heidi has really been ignoring me and anything that has to do with me all week long besides Kiki.
Kiki is 5 years old now, right? When kids get to that age, they tend to become really aware of their parents' actions and start to take after them.
If I've done something wrong, I'd really like to know about it so that I can apologize. But I have no clue what I've done, if I've done anything at all. So if Heidi is waiting on me to apologize to her for something, it's never going to happen.
Well, that's a very good point. So there isn't anything you can remember from the trip or right after coming home from that trip that might have upset her? I think if she started to ignore you right after that trip, then that means something had to have happened during or right after all of that.
Huh.
For example, was there a time where Heidi was just trying to find alone time and just kind of walked away from you and Kiki for a bit?
What?
Did something like that happen? Her going off by herself for a bit without the rest of you?
That did happen, yes, but she made sure to tell me she was going off by herself first. However, she wasn't alone then because she told me that she ran into one of her old friends who she hadn't seen for 10 years and wanted to know if it was okay to spend the day with them. So I said okay to that.
An old friend of hers. Were they a man or a woman?
What?
She didn't spend the whole day with a man, right?
Actually, I never asked her who they were, and she never said him or her when speaking about them with me. I guess I just assumed they were a woman at the time, but... There's no way, right?
Well, I was just asking if they were a man or a woman, so we're not sure yet who they really were. I'd really like to know now, though, after what you've told me.
But dang it, a man.
What? Do you remember something about her being with a man that day?
No, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with that friend she was hanging out with that day.
Tell me what you're thinking.
This is something that happened before her and I even started to date, but back then she had been really good friends with this other guy from her class, and they were always hanging out with one another. At one point, that man approached her about starting a relationship, but it never got anywhere because soon after that, he had to move away due to his parents' jobs. That happened around 10 years ago. So I was just thinking that perhaps he was the friend that she ran into? But that might not be the case at all. That just popped into my head as you were talking about what might have happened.
Oh? Both you and Heidi went to the same middle and high school together, right? So I can totally understand why you know so much about the other friends she had been with then and about how she had that small relationship with the other guy before dating you.
Well, back then, her and I weren't really that close to one another, and we only started to really talk to one another after graduating from high school. We met at a small reunion, and that's where things really kicked off. She was sitting next to me during dinner at the reunion, and her phone was dying, but she had forgot her portable charger. So she asked to borrow mine, and that's when we got to talking.
Did she choose to sit next to you then, or was the seating assigned by reservation?
We were at a buffet, so we chose to sit wherever we wanted. Originally, I think one of her friends was sitting at the same table as me, and that's why she came over and joined us to eat.
Oh, I see. What about those friends of yours? Where are they now?
I have no idea now. I don't think Heidi was that close to them either, so the only times we've ever really seen them was at one or two other class reunions.
Well, we can leave that all for now. First, we just need to find out what the reason is for Heidi ignoring you. If you'd like, you can leave Heidi with me, and I can try to find out what's been going on with her ever since you all got back from vacation.
Wait, is that really okay with you?
I'm not the most free person in the world right now, but I think I can take some time to look into her for you.
But...
I understand that you don't want to do this to your own wife because you don't want to think she's done anything wrong. But remember that the longer you and Heidi are at odds, the worse the outcome could be for Kiki in the future.
Well, that's true.
Then please let me help you here.
All right. Thank you so much for helping me, Serena.
Heidi, hello. What? Hi, Serena. Good evening, actually. It's been a long time since you and I last talked. Now that you mention it, it has been close to 2 years now since the last time we chatted. That's right. You ended up getting remarried and then you moved out of town, and since then we've never really had a chance to meet. Anyway, what did you want to talk about? Right, this isn't anything important though. I just saw you going into a hotel today with another man around lunchtime or so. What? Could that have been your boyfriend or something? Oh, I haven't spoken to my little brother about anything yet, so don't be too worried. What? I see. Serena? I see. Now that I think about it, I guess things are all right. What are you going on about right now? Actually, well, on that family vacation recently, I ran into a man I'm destined for. The man you're destined for? The man who I had always had a crush on back in school. He and I ran into one another while I was on vacation with your brother and Kiki. Back in the day, he and I were very close to one another. But just before we could get anywhere, he had to leave town due to his dad's job or something like that. In the end, I was never able to see him again, and things turned out the way they had been for the last 10 years. So you ran into him again? That's right. And all of this happened because I decided to go on a walk by myself that morning. I just had this feeling like I needed to go somewhere by myself, and meeting with my old crush again was what that feeling was all about. He was out there as well because his family had been staying at a resort there, and so when we ran into one another, we started walking around together and catching up. Isn't that just amazing to you? This really shows that he and I are meant for one another, destined for one another. And while he and I were catching up, he confessed to me that ever since he had to leave with his parents and move away, he had never stopped thinking about me. When those words of love came out of his mouth, I fell right into his arms, and we got a hotel nearby where we spent time together for 4 hours. In that room, we let 10 years of love we had for one another out, and that's where we realized we could not be separated from one another again. Then, after making love to one another, we talked more and more, and I found out that he is now living close to my house, and this is about a 20-minute drive away. So ever since we got back from our vacations, we have been seeing one another a lot. We are both the happiest couple ever. Is that right? Now you can probably see how things have become a bit tough for me recently. My love for my soulmate is never going to die out, and because of that, I need to be with him no matter what anyone else tells me. I want to have a talk with Chase about it, but I haven't really been able to get myself to approach him, so I'm a bit stressed out. Is that right? But why are you able to talk to me about all of that? You were able to find yourself the man of your dreams, right? So you should be able to understand how I feel now after finding the man I've been destined for. The man you're destined for? The reason you had to get a divorce from your ex-husband was due to cheating, right? Yes, that's right. Then when you found your true love, the man you're destined for, you chose to get married to him. But that happened after I found out that my ex had been cheating on me, and I was able to milk him dry of all his money through settlements and child support. What? My current husband, the man you're saying I was destined for? He and I met at the bar that I've been working at for years now after I got divorced. Huh? So you didn't get divorced because you were the one who cheated? Why did you think I was the one who cheated? I heard before that you had always been coming home very late when you were still married to your ex. And you would always try to hide what you'd been doing from everyone, like when you'd go out to eat and such. Oh, so you just assumed I was cheating on him because of that? Just because I was coming home late from work and not talking a whole lot about what I was doing, you thought I was the one who had been cheating? That's a little narrow-minded of you, Heidi. Please do not compare me to other unfaithful people just because I had a different schedule compared to most people. Then why were you always out of the house so late at night? I heard that you were even coming home so late that it was around 5 a.m. before you got home. The kind of work I was doing was a bit different from the normal 9 to 5 most people get to enjoy, which is why my schedule was always very erratic and I was coming home so late in the night. You weren't working a normal 9 to 5 job? Correct. I was working as a detective for the police. You worked as a detective? But I left that job when I became pregnant and then had my daughter. But during the time I had been pregnant, my husband was cheating on me, and that's what led to our divorce. And I'll have you know, I was the one who found out that he had been cheating on me and collected all the evidence to take him to court with. What? Not only was I pregnant at the time, but I was an ex-detective, yet my ex still had the balls to try and cheat on me. He deserved what he got in the end. Then that would mean... No way. Just like you're thinking, I've gone and gathered all the evidence I needed of you cheating on my brother. You're joking. And the reason for me texting you today like this? I wanted to talk to you about what's going to happen next now that I have concrete evidence of you cheating. And since you've been completely ignoring Chase this whole time, I was the only person he could rely on to get this show on the road. First, I was just going to try and read you a little bit before telling you about how I know you've been cheating, but instead, you actually assumed that I was the one who had cheated on my ex, and that's what made you think you could just open up to me about cheating on my brother, and then say everything was okay because I should have been able to understand your reasoning for why you did it. Well, thanks to that, I now have you confessing to everything you've done. I really appreciate your carelessness today, Heidi. What the hell?
Heidi? This time you have to be ready to talk with me, right? It has been a month now of you never talking to me and leaving all the chores untouched in the house. Luckily, I had my sister's help through all of this, and with her guidance, I was able to deal with you, always ignoring me and leaving me in charge of everything at home. But now Kiki is crying because she can no longer take having her parents acting this way. We are leaving forever. Goodbye.
What? What do you mean you're leaving forever? Goodbye? Are you taking Kiki too?
This place was being rented by me, so in the near future I will be ending the agreement I made, and you will have to leave this house as well. So I'd get started on packing up your things so that you aren't hit with a fine by the landlord.
Hold on a second. I will confess to having been cheating on you, and I will allow us to get a divorce, but you can't take Kiki away from me. I was planning on getting full custody of her in the divorce and then having you pay child support to me for her next 13 years. Listen to me, Chase. At least give me some kind of a response. Who the hell do you think you are ignoring me?
Right after that, I started to work on the divorce between Heidi and I, and that began with me getting in touch with a lawyer. The man who Heidi had been cheating on me with was also married, which meant that we had to contact his wife about what had been happening as well. And that led to them having a very rough divorce. At least for myself, I was able to get full custody of Kiki, child support from Heidi for the next 13 years, more than half of the properties her and I shared, and a large settlement. Overall, this divorce was a major success for me, and eventually it became a success for that other man's wife as well. When the divorce did happen and Heidi was asked to pay up, she cried that she had never worked a job in her life before, since she was always a housewife to me. And so in order to help her out one last time, my older sister offered her a job working for her husband's company, which is a mining company. It turns out that the man Heidi had been cheating on me with was already working at that company, and so the both of them would now be forced to work together in some of the deepest parts of that mine. They were both picked up by a really old and battered bus that operated with the mine and taken away to the middle of nowhere to start their long journeys of being corrected by very tough and grueling physical labor. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.